Three things that I learned along the way from Nike, from Campbell's, from Coke, and all the brands that I admired in the world. Great brands are product, people, and storytelling. We set some rules for how should we storytell as a company. Now, I go back to the whole idea of not knowing how to do it. So saying, what's the best way to build a brand? That's what we started doing, right? For us, here's our manifesto. Product is king. Most important thing you can do. People have to take this and elevate this rule, but product sits in the middle of everything. We didn't do logos, banners. We put the product everywhere. So when you look at some of the content I'll show you, you won't see lots of logos. You will see product everywhere, right? One of the most important things we did. We stayed young. Again, something else I got in trouble for because I said it in a big meeting when Apple was looking to buy us. And it came out like we only hire young people, and that's not the identity. But there was a spirit of youth in this business. There were people in my group that were 40, 50 years old, but the whole identity of being young and staying connected to young culture, it works, right? And I'll tell you why. My whole career has been focused on like the 18 to 24-year-old age range. Here's the magic of that age range. If you were 13, 14, 15, you want to be 18. Let's go to the other side, 24. If you're 30, well, 30's, you're kind of still happy. 35, 45, 55, right? You still think about the 25s and the 24-year-old because that was you and you're most vigorous for most people. So this whole idea of being young and focusing on that range, as much as it's really tight, it actually has pretty broad aspiration, right? Always be authentic. How do we get into real authentic storytelling? I tend to hate this word now because it's a bit overwrought. Everybody uses it, and nobody really knows what it means. Authentic to me was saying the things that everybody was thinking but afraid to say. We would get those things out of our athletes and our talent, and we would say those things. We would get those things from younger people in our group, and we would put those things into the world. Again, you'll see some of that work in a second. We always want to be a leader. This is a Jedi mind trick, right? We're a leader. Well, we weren't. We were number like 10. But then eventually we became a leader, right? We took number 1 in over 25 countries. And a lot of it was just us saying that we're number 1, and eventually we got there. Live in a connection, right? How did my team live in, whether it was fashion, music, sports, art, and how do we catalyze that as a business? And then lastly, this whole idea of moving culture, right? Not responding to culture, moving culture itself. Think about what the brand did for like basketball culture and sports culture. So then what about fear? Fear for me has always been a really powerful thing because I've never really known what I was doing. But what the fear causes me to do, my reaction to fear is that oversimplification and then this curiosity that comes out of it, where I'm always asking questions. I'm asking whether it's an expert or a waitress in a restaurant, right? I've taken creative out, I've taken ads out in front of our agency and shown it to like who's serving us and say, what do you think? There's a lot of data out there. And the thing with data that's most interesting is if you have it, most likely your competitors have it also. And if your competitors have it, it's really who's going to analyze it differently and who's going to find some infinitesimal insight. And then by the time you action against that insight, you're hoping your competitors haven't done it also. I always look at the best marketing is not only when people get it, but when they start doing your marketing for you. So when you listen to those comments around blocking out noise, right? That first thing I showed you was noise blockers. When you start to hear the media and people read back your marketing campaign to you, that means you've hit the note marketing-wise. We were known for walking into a locker room with one pair of headphones, walking past every player and going to a guy like Kobe Bryant and giving it to him. Hand to hand, eye to eye, super intimate. Now, the rest of the team looks back and is like, where's my headphone? And we're like, well, you're not Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe's excited, he feels special. The rest of the team, whenever they had a good game, they called us. And we sent one more headphone out. But they were all competitive. If there's nothing to compete for, if the boxers are sitting in the locker room floor, there's nothing to compete for. Then the trainers and the water boys and everybody else pick up the headphones. So much of what we tried to do was create really intimate moments of connection with the talent, hand to hand, eye to eye. But how do you create the emotion of this? And it's aspirational and it's old school, but it's that thing that still creates connections. In a world where everything comes to me fast, I then go back to those things that are slow. right? I'm watching a lot of influencers move away from smartphones into those phones that can only make phone calls and don't have a screen for the internet, right? People are moving, craving for connection. As much as the internet's opened up the world and we can ship things any and everywhere, people are still craving human interaction and human emotion. And that's why you rewind back to what I was saying about people. People can help create that. And how do you take that and operationalize that into what you're doing as far as your